Time now to take a look through the international newspapers with Elena. Hello, Elena. Now, France is gearing up for a presidential election, of course. You've been telling us all about it over the last few months. But we're not the only ones. Egypt preparing for a presidential election too. Only 3 frontrunners have been barred from running, 10 candidates altogether. What are the papers in Egypt making of that then?
Well, the most read paper there, El Aram, thinks the contest now is going to be much less divisive, but also much less interesting for those watching it now that those main candidates have been blocked out. It leaves space, they reckon, for 2 men principally, the former Arab League Secretary-General Amma Musa and the former Muslim Brotherhood member, who actually isn't now officially backed by that party, Abdel Foutou. Now, they reckon Musa is probably the best placed because polls consistently say that what Egyptians want from a presidential candidate is someone who has experience in government, who's previously served in a government, who is well known on the international stage and well known on the Egyptian street. Musa's a well-known name for ordinary people, which isn't necessarily true of all the 13 candidates still left in that race. And they want someone who they looks like a safe pair of hands and whose beliefs are moderate. Musa ticks all of those boxes. There is one problem with him, the paper points out, which is that he's 75, which doesn't quite seem like exactly right. They say for someone who's just starting a new mandate, maybe they should be going for a younger man. Over in the Egypt Independent, they look at what might happen to the Muslim Brotherhood voters now that their main candidate that the party had put up, Khairat al-Shaita, has now been disqualified, and so is the well-known Salafist Abu Ismail, who's quite popular in Egypt. So who are his voters going to pick? Well, they say it might be Musa, it might be a moderate Muslim candidate, but there's just no quite way of knowing exactly if the Muslim Brotherhood will even officially back any of the candidates left in the race. But it might not really matter, because they think voters are deciding more based on the individual than on party loyalties.
Now, heading to Latin America now, and a decision by the president of Argentina has caused quite a diplomatic spat, hasn't it?
Yes, she's decided to nationalise the Spanish oil firm YPF, its holdings in Argentina, which infuriated the Spanish press. As you see in El País here, their headline is, Argentina refuses to pay 800 million euros that Repsol wants for the holdings that she's just nationalised. The editorial on the inside calls this intimidatory populism, saying that it seems that Argentina has a track record with this, having first tried to shore up nationalism over the Falklands, of course, over which she's tried to ratchet up tension over quite a lot over recent months, and now with Spain over an oil company. They say that this sort of populist drive is not good news for the future of Argentina, but also that the Spanish government should be careful about reacting in too nationalist a way when it sort of tries to react to this also. And over at Foreign Policy magazine, they ask if Argentina's energy problems can actually be solved by nationalising that oil, which obviously is one of the things that Kitchener is thinking about. The country does suffer from energy shortages, but Foreign Policy reckons that no, that's not the case. It just won't happen. There isn't enough oil in Argentina. It's not like Brazil, even with that company nationalised.
Now, there are 100 days to go before the start of the Olympic Games in London. Is London ready?
That's the big question the Independent is asking today. They say it's been nearly 7 whole years since it was announced that London was going to host the Olympic Games.
Has it been that long already? I remember Paris losing out and people being very sad over here.
Yeah, I remember parties in London, but it does seem like a long time ago. But since then, have people lost enthusiasm since those celebrations? Are people just feeling a bit cynical about it and want it to be over? That's what they're asking. They do talk to quite a lot of Londoners and people who are actually getting excited about it, to sports club owners, to fitness studio owners who say, yes, we are getting more people participating because of the Olympic effect. Something a lot of cynics have said, of course, is that there hasn't really been enough investment in local sports facilities in East London to get people involved in sport. But they reckon there are extra people joining up. Some people living in East London there say they're really looking forward to it, but lots of other people not so happy. They talked to the head of the London Taxi Drivers Association, who says, I expect it to be absolute chaos. We won't be able to get anywhere. They think actually they're going to lose money. You might expect taxi drivers to have a bonanza with extra tourists, but they reckon because Londoners will be escaping the capital, the ordinary sort of Big Ben tourists won't be coming, and one specifically coming for the Olympics might not take that many taxis, plus the expected road chaos. They're certainly not very keen.
That's the thing, a lot of Londoners are saying they're going to leave the city because they're expecting all this travel chaos, but the mayor trying to encourage them to stay, of course. All right, thank you very much, Elena, for running us through the international press.